Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. You're watching Study with Sudhir, your own digital classroom. And today's episode of the SWS Naatu series for the year 2024 is on the Merchant of Venice. Many of you have been asking me for an episode on MOV. So here it is with some interesting questions, with some critical reasoning questions, with some pre-board questions that will test your preparation कि आपको शेक्सपियर अंकल कितनी अच्छी तरह से मालूम है. One tip I will give you before we get started is to ensure that you read the text multiple times. Understanding ho jaye, great. But after you understand, please read the text multiple times. The kind of critical reasoning questions that I expect you to get are the kind that will test ki किसने कहा था, कब कहा था, वो तो ठीक है. इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस तो आते रहते थे. Now you will get questions that will test your recall, understanding, and analysis. Okay, so please be well prepared with MOV in order to score full marks in both the subjective as well as in the MCQ part. And if you are looking for many more such question papers, please take a look at our best in demand success test paper on English literature on the Study with Sudhir app and the Study with Sudhir website, that is studywithsudhir.com. I can assure you that it will be worth every penny. I really mean it. Every year, English literature along with English language followed by history, civics, and geography are the papers which actually most students enroll in, take it and test themselves on. So please be in good hands is what I will say if you want to score very high marks. We are not interested in securing a 70 or an 80. We are looking at the 90s, the high 90s. So agar wahan par pahunchna hai, so you know what is your route. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the test paper on the Merchant of Venice. Portia says this dash 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 dash, being the bosom lover of my lord, who is she referring to? तो यहां पर देखिए immediately आपसे recall test किया गया है, आपसे एक portion of the sentence दिया गया है और उसके पहले का जो शब्द है उसके बारे में आपसे पूछा गया है. So is she referring to the young lawyer to whom Bassanio gave his ring? Is she referring it to Antonio? Is she referring to Graciano, who is very close to Bassanio? Or is she referring to Lancelot? तो आपको मालूम होना चाहिए ये कौन से सीन का है लाइन. Okay, so this particular line is from Act 3, Scene 4. ये पहला ऑप्शन देके डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज्ड एंड डोंट थिंक दैट इट इज एक्ट 5. नो, इट इज नॉट द रिंग सीन, इट इज नॉट द ट्रायल सीन either. So yahan par the correct option is B, and this comes from Act 3, Scene 4. Okay, where Portia is in conversation with Lorenzo. Okay, मैं आपको पढ़ के सुना देता हूं ताकि आपको correct. So you'll get an idea from these questions that how you need to prepare. It says, Portia says, which makes me think that this Antonio, being the bosom lover of my lord, this is line 15-16 ke aspas are these lines in my textbook. It could be aage piche 1-2 lines in your textbook. So 1B is the right option. Okay, I wish your ladyship all heart's content. Who said this to Portia? Portia को ये किसने कहा? Did Nerissa say it? Did Lorenzo say it? Did Balthazar say it? Or did Jessica say it? The correct option is, I hope you got it right, is D. And this one also is from Act 3, Scene 4. Okay, great. Let's move forward. Select the option that shows the correct relationship between sentence statement 1 and statement 2. Thou calls me a dog, beware my fangs. Okay. Now here, what is the connection? Is 2 an example of 1? 1 and 2 are independent of each other. 1 is the cause for 2 or 2 is the cause for 1. Okay. which is the correct one. So the correct option is option C, because ये कहने की वजह से ये कहा गया. You called me a dog. Shylock says in Act 3, Scene 3, that you called me a dog before you had the cause, but since I am a dog, beware my fangs. Okay, so 2 is the reason, 1 is the reason why 2 is said. So 1 is the cause for 2. प्लीज ये सारे एमसीक्यूज को ध्यान से पढ़ना, बिकॉज ये कॉस वगैरह के इस शब्दों में आप कंफ्यूज हो सकते हैं. ओके, see the idea here is that it's very easy for me to put out any 10 MCQs 5 मिनट में क्रिएट कर दो, लेकिन इस तरह के क्वेश्चन पेपर को क्रिएट करने में टाइम लगता है, बिकॉज यू थिंक अ लॉट एज टू हाउ द स्टूडेंट विल बी द टेस्टेड इन द बेस्ट पॉसिबल मैनर, ताकि योर मेंटल ट्यूनिंग, आई वॉन्ट यू टू गो इन टू द एग्जामिनेशन हॉल थिंकिंग कि मेरे को टफ पेपर आएगा, उसके बाद इजी पेपर आया तो लॉटरी लग गई, लेकिन आपको एक 100 ऑन 100 के लेवल पे ले जाने की कोशिश रहेगी यहां पर नाटू नाटू सीरीज में एंड ऑन द सक्सेस टेस्ट पेपर्स. Bassanio offers to pay Shylock 10 times of the principal and says if he fails to do so, he shall forfeit. Now this is a question that is testing your recall. पहला वाला था about your analysis, इससे पहले वाला तीसरा वाला. Now ये वाला fourth वाला question, this is from the trial scene, 4th A, 4th B, 4th C या 4th D. तो अगर आपने ठीक से पढ़ा है, आपने अच्छी तरह से टेक्स्ट को पढ़ा है, as I said, I remember reading the MOV multiple times. I've lost count. It's also been 4-5 years now. I've lost count of the number of times we read MOV. By that time, every line कहीं से पूछा जाए, you could know. So यहाँ पर 4th C is the right option. When Portia says deface the bond, what does she mean? She means, now this is testing your understanding कि आपको ये play कितना अच्छी तरह से समझ में आया है. That's what I said. Recall, analysis and understanding. Defame the bond, do away with the bond, dirty the bond papers or face the consequences. So कुछ होंगे ये face को समझ के D को लगा देंगे. No, this is wrong. The correct answer is 5th B. Salarino tells Shylock that there is a difference between his flesh and his daughters, as it is between jet and ivory, red wine and Venice, day and night, or is it between Jew and Christian? Now here you would know this is from Act 3, Scene 1, and there you will get confused. Are ye tha ya ye tha? The correct answer is A, because you're talking about flesh. This was in the context of blood. और ये आपको कैसे याद रहेगा? ये recall question है. ये आपको तभी याद रहेगा जब आपने टेक्स्ट कई बारी पढ़ा होगा और अच्छी तरह से याद होगा. There is more difference between thy flesh and hers than between jet and ivory, says Salarino. More between your bloods than there is between red wine and Rhenish. Okay, so इसीलिए आपको टेक्स्ट पढ़ना जरूरी है. Okay. If Bassanio chooses the wrong casket, he makes a dash-like end. This is a recall question. Who does Portia refer to? Alcides? Yes, Portia also referred to Alcides. लेकिन यहाँ पर fill in the blanks पे Alcides है क्या? नहीं है. Dardanian wives? No. Rack का भी reference हुआ था, the whole double meaning thing, but no, the punning. But the correct answer is the swan-like ending. Portia compares the friendship between Bassanio and Antonio. Now, this is an interesting question. This is an analysis and a recall question combined. This is from one of the pre-board papers of one of my very good students. Compares the friendship between Bassanio and Antonio to a pair of eagles, oxen, cows, and a pair of sparrows. The correct option is B. Okay, this is from, आपको मालूम है कौन से सीन में से है? This is from Act 3, Scene 4. Okay, now what is the thing which is said? She says, now वहां पर the line that is used is whose souls, this is the 13th or the 14th line. whose souls, Portia says, whose souls do bear an equal yoke of love. Yoke is because the oxen, जो बैल होते हैं, उसको एक साथ बांधते हैं by an yoke. अगर आपको ठीक से नाटक समझाया गया है तो आपको मालूम होगा तो yoke is used to tie the two the oxen. Okay, so that's what is done here, and that's why the correct option is B, a pair of oxen. At the end of Act 3, Scene 1, Shylock asked Tubal to carry out a task. Now, this is something which one of my students asked, and I thought it was an interesting observation, right? I mean, we interact a lot. So, you get a lot because you teach something, and then there is a doubt, and I think, oh, this is something which I didn't think of. So this was an interesting observation which my student pointed out. So I made it into a question that he asked Tubal to actually carry out a task, जो कि actually Tubal ने किया नहीं था. ये कौन सा task था? Find my daughter, invite him to dinner, यानी कि invite Antonio to dinner, fee me an officer, or plague Antonio. Okay, if invite him should be Antonio. Okay. So the correct answer is C. Ninth C, that he had asked Tubal. If you see the last passage of Act 3, Scene 1. Okay, Act 3, Scene 1. He says, go Tubal, fee me an officer, bespeak him a fortnight before. I will have the heart of him. So he says that you engage a lawyer. But trial scene में तो कोई दिखा नहीं. So I thought one of my students had this very interesting observation that he made. So thank you. For the commodity that strangers have with us in Venice, if it be denied, will much impeach the justice of the state. What is meant by commodity and strangers here? Privileges, traders, rights, and foreigners. So is it 1 and 2, that is privileges and traders? Is it 2 and 3, that is traders and rights? Is it 3 and 4, that is rights and foreigners? Or is it 1 and 4, that is privileges and foreigners? Okay, so the correct option for the 10th question is C, that is 3 and 4. It is rights and foreigners. That is, if you look here, commodity is referring to rights and strangers is referring to foreigners. Okay. Again, testing your understanding. आप समझ रहे हैं ना? It is not पहले के जो MCQs आते थे पिछले साल तक, they would be testing only your recall कि आपको याद है या नहीं. लेकिन अभी recall, understanding and analysis. So do not take it lightly. You need to understand how these MCQs, that's precisely the idea behind doing this Naatu series, that you are prepared for an 100 on 100. I am not preparing you for a 90 or an 85 on 100. Most definitely not. We set our standards high. Why does Antonio say he seeks my life, his reason well I know? 11th question. Antonio often rescued from the Jews' clutches those people who could not pay their debts. Antonio had called Shylock a dog. The Duke cannot but allow the law to take its course. Shylock is inhuman and merciless. ये कौन से scene का है? This is from Act 3, Scene 3. The correct option is 11th A. The wish that would make else an unquiet house. What wish is being referred to here? Now, इसमें देखो बंधु, आपको ये ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा कि ये कहां से आया है और इस विश कौन से विश को रेफर किया गया है. ओके, काफी इतना आसान नहीं होगा इस बार एक एक मार्क सोट करना बंधु. The wish would make else an unquiet house. What wish is being referred to out here? Bassanio wishing he loses his wife. Lorenzo's wish that he elopes with Jessica. Graciano has wished that Nerissa were dead and in heaven. Shylock wishing death upon Jessica. So, चारों options ही ठीक लगेंगे. So the correct option is 12th का C, and this is from the trial scene. जब Bassanio and Graciano say talk about the death of their newly wedded wives, that is Portia and Nerissa. शादी हो गई नहीं हो गई, that is of course left a little vague, but we are assuming that they are married. 13th one. In Act 4, Scene 2, लोग सोचते हैं कि Act 4, Scene 2 एक पेज का है तो इसे इग्नोर कर देते हैं, लेकिन मैंने जानबूझ के यहां से एक क्वेश्चन लिया है. Portia gives a set of instructions to Nerissa. What is not one of the instructions? Find out where the Jew's house is. Give the deed to Shylock. Let Shylock sign the deed. Give the deed to Jessica. Now, इसमें obviously ये गलत है. Okay. Sorry. 13th. Yeah, correct. मैं confused हो गया. Select the option that shows the correct relationship between statement 1 and 2. A Daniel come to judgment. There is no power in Venice can alter a decree established. 1 is a reaction to 2. 2 is a reaction to 1. 1 and 2 are independent to each other and 1 and 2 are set by the same character. तो यहां पर आपका recall और analysis टेस्ट हो रहा है. तो यहां पर करेक्ट ऑप्शन इज 14th ए, बिकॉज जो डैनियल की जो लाइन है शाइलॉक कहता है एंड दैट इज रिएक्शन टू द वेनिस लाइन दैट इज सेट बाय पोर्शिया. ओके, सो इसलिए ये तो गलत है. दे आर नॉट इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ ईच अदर. 15th one. Lancelot says the sins of the father are to be laid upon the children. Therefore, Shylock is damned, Portia is damned, Jessica is damned, या Lancelot himself is damned because of his father, जिसको कि वो गोबो को मिले थे ना एक्ट 2 सीन 1 में. ओके, वो लंबा चौड़ा सीन जो आपने पिछले साल किया था. तो यहां पर 15th सी. एक्ट 3 सीन 5. You drop manna in the way of starved people. What does manna refer to in the context of the play? Food from heaven. Now manna का मतलब manna from heaven को food from heaven ही बोलते हैं, लेकिन यहां पर मैंने जानबूझ के ये लिखा है in the context of the play. प्ले के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में इस फ्रेज का क्या मतलब है? ओके, स्पेशल गिफ्ट, डीड ऑफ गिफ्ट फ्रॉम द रिच Jew, permission to Lorenzo and Jessica to get married, order to Shylock to get converted to Christianity. The correct answer is B because ये होता है रिंग सीन के बिल्कुल एंड में, एक्ट 5 सीन 1, और जबकि नेरिसा उसको वो लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट देती है. The Duke refers to Shylock as an inhuman wretch. This is at the beginning of the trial scene, Act 4, Scene 1. Because he is cunning, he is merciless, he is greedy, he is fanatical. Now, आप इन दोनों में confuse हो सकते हैं. ये तो नहीं होगा, ये भी नहीं होगा, इन दोनों में कंफ्यूज हो सकते हैं. लेकिन द करेक्ट ऑप्शन इज 17th बी, बिकॉज द लाइन इज, और इसी से आपको आपकी रिकॉल वैल्यू ट्रेस्ट होगी, एन इनह्यूमन रिच अनकेपेबल ऑफ पिटी, void and empty from any dram of mercy, from any dram of mercy. This is what is said. So since the word mercy is there, therefore merciless. When Portia asks Shylock to tarry a little, yani ki wait a little, and explains the detail about no shedding of blood, who does she make most happy? Who reacts in the most happy manner? Is it Antonio? अरे बाप रे, मैं escape हो गया. Bassanio, Graciano, or the Duke, who is clearly not very impartial, है ना? आपको भी लगता है? तो अगर लगता है तो लिखो, लगता है करके. I didn't think he was a very impartial kind of a judge. तो यहां पर the correct answer is Graciano, because what does Graciano say? Oh upright judge, oh learned judge. You know, he exclaims. When Lorenzo informs Portia that a messenger came before to signify the arrival of Bassanio and Graciano, why does Portia instruct Nerissa to give orders to the servants कि अंदर जाके नौकरों को बोलो that they should not show that they know about their absence, the absence of Nerissa and Portia, because Bassanio and Graciano shall doubt that Portia and Nerissa were the lawyer and the clerk. Portia does not want Bassanio to know that Nerissa and she were at the monastery. Obviously not. Bassanio and Graciano have lost their rings and not kept their promises. This is a pre-board exam paper question. Bassanio and Graciano are dishonest husbands and they betrayed them. So yahan par A is the right option. I go with all convenient speed. What does this mean? I will go as fast as I can. I will go at my own convenience. I will go in my own conveyance. यानी कि मैं खुद की सवारी में जाऊंगा. I will travel by boat. The correct option is A. This line is said by Balthazar to Portia in Act 3, Scene 4. तो जब आप करेंगे तो आपको ध्यान में आ जाना चाहिए कि अरे ये कौन से सीन में से है. दैट्स स्टेप नंबर 1. देन हु सेड इट एंड व्हाट कॉन्टेक्स्ट. सो माय ओनली सजेशन टू यू इज टू सजेशंस. One, understand every line of the play. This is absolutely important for you if you don't want to lose even a single mark. Point number 2, read the text as many times as possible after you have understood the play, ताकि आपको रात को 2:30 बजे भी कोई उठा के कोई आपसे पूछे, यू शुड बी एबल टू आंसर. ओके, दैट्स द ओनली वे. मजा है इंग्लिश लिटरेचर में पूरे 100 में से 100 मार्क्स स्कोर करने में. ओके, योर एंटायर overall percentage can really shoot up because English is a compulsory subject. It's a compulsory subject. So understand it. And also my third suggestion, as far as the subjective answers are concerned, try using many of the keywords. जो important adjectives हैं उनका इस्तेमाल कीजिए ताकि आपको ज्यादा से ज्यादा marks मिले. If the examiner does not find an opportunity to deduct any marks in your subjective answers. Okay. Tata, bye bye. Thank you very much. God bless you.